Hello. Evening folks, Dan for Shizzle, another video. If I can get it uploaded on this crap virgin internet. Right, we're going to have a look at the Nemesis. Now this is the HCIGAR version, and it is the mixed version, so yeah. I purchased this for around 35 quid. I can't remember the exact price, but I'll put a price in the description or something. Now this was from modsandAtties.com. ModsandAtties.com is a UK based supplier of clones and stuff, so it's good. No long waits like a certain other website, but you are paying the premium for having it come from the UK. That's all I'm saying on that matter. Yeah, I purchased this for around 35 quid, so what we'll do is we'll get in close, we'll have a look what's in the box, what's on the box, what's around the box, and everything else around the box. See you in a second. Hello. Right, here is our Nemesis box. Now, Nemesis logo and some black vapor. And that is about all you have on this box. Oh no, you have some signs there. CE, recycling, that's either China export or an actual CE mark. And something that says SGS. All that SGS means to my mind is Samsung Galaxy S, but it's obviously not that. Alright, inside our box we have this lot. Have an extra ring to accommodate slightly larger batteries. I don't think it's a kick ring, but don't quote me on that, because I don't own a kick, so I can't test it. And this is our Nemesis. All I'll say on the box is it is rather sturdy. It's a well-made box. It's made of paper, like most boxes. So yeah, but this is what we want to look at. Now I'm going to change the focus because it actually matters now that the mod's out. Where are we? We're there. So our Nemesis. Now this has been in pretty much a lot of use since I since I bought it. It's a hard hitter. You have to excuse the chihuahua in the background. I'm sorry, so sorry. Hey, shush. There we go. He's a whinge bag, you know. Such a whinge bag. Never mind. Right. This is our mixed Nemesis. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tear it down and then put it back together for you. Ryan! No. Thank you. I'm going to tear it down and then we'll put it back together. So, here is our top cap. Right. There. This does fully disassemble. You have your... If I can grip it, I'm going to have to screw this back on. There we go. Our gold top cap ring section. I don't want to say the word I said in the last review because it made me giggle and I don't want to do that again. This is basically your airflow control ring. You'll see the two small holes in there, and you'll see two small holes in your top cap there. Now if you line those up, you've got an open airflow, but it is adjustable. So if you are using stuff like a Pro Tank or something, if you screw it right down, you can adjust your airflow and you might be able to change the draw a little. Our 510 pin is fully adjustable through this screw here. All you do to adjust is just finger, and you can just tighten it with your finger, or indeed loosen it with your finger to suit your AE. What I do usually is I'll have both of these wide open, so lining them up, there, bang, they're lined up. I then screw my attie on in the position I want it, say there, pop the tank down, then adjust this screw to it's touching the bottom of the mod. It was already doing that actually, I didn't need to adjust it, but there, and we're spot on. That is a good connection. So there we go. I can save that for later because I know that is the right connection. Right, so there's our top cap. We then have a central tube. Now the threading on these is very, very fine. So fine in fact that it is very, very easy to cross thread these. I've seen 2 or 3 instances over various media sources where people have cross threaded their Nemesis clones, and it's easily done. I've had a fight with this ring here, as you can see. T-towel wasn't working, rubber grips weren't working, bloody rubber gloves weren't working. This ring was stuck inside this bottom tube and it would not budge. So it still works, but it just looks shit. So we'll leave that out. Right, then our switch. There's our switch here. Right, our switch is again fully adjustable to a certain degree. That's the furthest I can get mine to push down. Right, so we have our finger adjustable pin for our negative, which comes out. I'm not going to take this fully apart because it is a pain sometimes to get that together, but inside there is a little brass pin, and underneath the pin sits a spring. So that's your basic makeup of your switch really. There's not a lot. I mean, it's fully adjustable to accommodate bigger batteries or indeed smaller batteries. That's about all there is to it really. Fully adjustable. I believe the pin is silver plated, but this is a clone, and I wouldn't take any of that for granted, to be honest. So there's our switch and our top cap, and indeed our central tube. Next we have the business end, which is the other central tube, or the bottom center tube. Nemesis logo is engraved, quite well engraved. It's not the deepest. If you were to polish this mod a few times, it probably would start to fade. And we have our brass locking ring right there. Now, the only parts I bother polishing on this are the brass parts, if I'm honest. And if they're looking really dirty and really tatty, I will polish the rest just to give them a quick wipe. Inside, underneath our locking ring, is these vent holes. So if you do have your locking ring all the way up, it will block the vent holes. Now, considering that this switch is a screw together switch, right, so it's not open, and the central tube through the switch isn't open either, so you haven't got a lot of vent in there. So I tend to just leave that 2 or 3 turns open just to give the battery some sort of vent just in case. Right, so let's screw it back together. We'll put our switch in our bottom tube. We'll just leave it like that for now because we might need to adjust it for our battery. So, right, there's that. I'll do it this way like I was before. Oh, these do have serial numbers. Mine is 3652. And it says Nemesis on the side. Right there. There we go. Yeah, and we do have Atomic Sarni logos on the bottom. Logos on clones is something I don't really like to see normally. They've done them well on this device, but I would just rather see the Nemesis shape. Even I don't mind them copying the design even. It's just using someone else's logos and using someone else's signature, basically. You're giving it someone else's name, and it's a bit wrong. Anyway, we're not getting onto that subject today. So the switch is for our negative on the battery, the bottom of the battery. Then we put our other central tube back on, screw it down. Be careful. If you feel any sort of resistance on the threads, stop and unscrew and try again, because that way you see, there we go. No resistance, there shouldn't be any resistance until you are fully tightened. Right, then we have our mod back together. That tube's going to need adjusting. I can see that already. Now remember, I adjusted this pin for the atomizer I'm going to use on it already. So, put this back on. Like so. We're back together. Now, you'll hear that that switch isn't in place yet, so keep screwing until it does go in place, which is about there. There we go. That is our switch back in place. Now if you wanted to go a little bit further with that switch, only thing you really have to do is push that down and just give it a couple more turns on the screw, and then try again. So then we got to screw up again. With these threads being so fine, these can be a bit of a pain to get on sometimes, but once you've got a knack, you've got a knack. There we go. Just got to wait for that bite. As long as you're not getting resistance, as long as it's not too difficult to screw back together, you should be fine. And that is in a much better position. Now to lock this device, all you do is you bring this brass tube down, this brass locking ring, so it contacts the button, and that is locked. That is not going to fire. But we want that all the way back up, minus a couple of turns, like that, just to give our battery a bit of breathing space. Right, so atty I'm going to use on this today is going to be the killer in an HCIGAR carto tank. Now remember, I adjusted the killer already. There we go. Which I like. There we go. Right. We'll come back up to me. Hello. Right, so we've got our killer on our Nemesis. There is a slight millimeter mismatch, but it's not something that bothers me too much. The HCIGAR carto tank, I think, is 21 or 20 millimeters, and the Nemesis is 22. So, right, let's see how it vapes. Now, if you remember what I did, is I screwed the HCIGAR carto tank all the way down so that it sits flush on the Nemesis. So now the Nemesis's little dual air holes here is what is controlling the airflow. So I mean, I've got both of those wide open. It's giving me a nice airy draw. Quite capable of lung hits. It provides a nice, it's got good airflow going through the mod itself. Now for £35, for me it's about spot on money. It works well. It doesn't hit as hard as, say, something like the M16, or indeed the device I reviewed previously, the Kato Hammer. It doesn't hit as hard, but it's a solid mod for what you're paying, 35 quid. The little extra ring does come in handy if you're using a higher mAh battery. Mine is destroyed now, so it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Yeah, 35 quid. I'm back to one nostril today too. Right, 35 quid. It's good for the money. It works well. Adjustable pin, adjustable switch, airflow going through the mod, so you can use your pro tanks, you can use anything that gets its airflow through a 510 connection, you can use, which is something of a novelty on a mechanical mod. In my experience, every mechanical that I've owned so far hasn't had the airflow coming through the 510 pin. The K100 does, and that's the only other one I've got that does at the moment. There's probably loads out there, but I mean, in my experience, it's a novelty for me having that. I can sit that flush and know that I'm still going to get decent airflow. It's nice. It's made of stainless steel and brass. You can't ask for two better materials, really. The stainless steel tubes do scratch a bit easy because I use this in my left hand, and that is where my wedding ring sits. I have scratched the tube a little with my wedding ring. They will polish out, but it's just it's something of note. It does have logos, which I'm not too keen on. I'm not very fond of the old logos on clones thing. Excuse me. But for 35 quid, you can't go wrong, really. I've been Dan for Shizzle. I'll see you in the next one.